Hey y'all. This is like a part two of a message that I did on Sunday, which was titled When You Need Me, You Will Not Find Me. It was something like that, but this is like a part two. This is I'm coming out of Nehemiah, the 9th chapter, and I'm just going to read some of this. This is when God had the people went into his children went into the promised land, and after they captured the enemy, they started being rebellious and started living the way they want to live. So I'm going to start at verse 26, and this is a example that God wanted me to show the people. But despite all this, they were disobedient and rebelled against you. They turned their backs on your law. They killed your prophets who warned them to return to you, and they committed terrible blasphemies. So you handed them over to their enemies who made them suffer. But in their time of trouble, they cried to you, and you heard them from heaven. In your great mercy, you sent them liberators who rescued them from their enemies. But as soon as they were at peace, your people again committed evil in your sight, and once more you let their enemies conquer them. Yet whenever your people turned and cried to you again for help, you listened once more from heaven. In your wonderful mercy, you rescued them many times. You warned them to return to your law, but they became proud and obstinate and disobeyed your commands. They did not follow your regulations, by which people will find life if only they obey. They stubbornly turned their backs on you and refused to listen. In your love, you were patient with them for many years. You sent your spirit who warned them through the prophets, but still they wouldn't listen. So once again, you allowed the peoples of the land to conquer them. So I wanted to come back. God told me to come back and use that, because you know how we will find ourselves in some trouble, and that's how it was with these people. They wander away from God and they start disobeying him, and once they found themselves in doing things and God was not with them anymore, then that's when they start back crying out to God, asking God to rescue them. So when God was a merciful God, he's a kind-hearted God, and he went and rescued them. But after he rescued them, they went back and did the same things that he just saved them from. Then he saved them again. And after he saved them, they went back and did the same thing that God had just saved them from. Don't you know that sooner or later, God is just going to hand you over to the enemy? And that's what he did to his people. He handed them over. He allowed the enemy, their enemy, to conquer them. And the thing is, sometimes, we as people, when we feel like that we have asked for forgiveness, and then God forgives us, and then we'll turn right back around and get back out there and keep living the way we want to live. And then when you find yourself back in that dark place again, then here you come asking God, God, save me from this. And it could be the same thing that God just saved you from a year ago, but you went back out there and did it again. It was the same way with the people. And finally, after God gives us chance and chance and chance and chance to get it right, finally God will just go ahead and let the enemy capture you. Yes, that's what the words say. I mean, if you go through that Old Testament and you read about, go through the different chapters where the prophets, where God was sending them out to warn the people. It's in the word. It's like, well, he forgave me this time, so I'm just going to keep doing it, because guess what? I mean, he going to forgive me the next time when I cry out to him. Because he forgave me the first time, the second time, the third time, the fourth time, the fifth time. Because you got some people that's just, you know, they just got that mindset of, well, I'm going to keep doing it because I was forgiven the first, third, fourth, fifth time, because I got away with it. And that's how some people feel that, you know, you got away with it. And that's how the people was feeling, because if you wouldn't feel that way, you wouldn't go back out there and keep doing it again. Like you keep returning back to the very thing that I already had you in some dark places. And you keep returning back to the very thing that you had God to save you from. So it's like, you know, well, since God's, you know, save me from this, I'm going to get back out here and do me again. Then you crying out again for God to help you and save you. And he'll do it because he's a merciful and a forgiving God. And somebody's just constantly saying, well, he forgave me this time, he going to do it again. But don't you know, soon, rather than later, God is going to just allow the enemy to conquer you. And that's what he was saying in that message that I did Sunday. That when you need me, you would not find me. Don't you know that God would turn an ear from you? He would turn his face from you. Because he have given you chance after chance. What are you doing to show God, well, God, you know, you have saved me from this. And like I said, you know, it become broken promises, because it's like, instead of just showing God that I'm not going to do this no more, it's just words now. So it's broken promises, because now you went right back out there and repeated the same thing that God just saved you from. So then God saying, well, soon you're not going to be able to find me, because I'm going to walk away from you. Because it's broken promises. Like you just constantly saying, well, God, if you do this time, I'm not going to do it no more. And that's how the people was. They were just constantly doing it. It was like a repeat. Because guess what? They felt like, well, he saved us that first, second, third, fourth, fifth time. Then guess what? He going to be there every time. So I'm just going to keep taking advantage of the goodness of God. Somebody, I'm going to have to go and say it like this. Somebody found out that they can't find God right now, because God just not listening no more. Somebody has found out. So now it's time for you to make the decision, because God not going to make you do anything. It's up to you. Either you going to keep going after doing you, or you just going to go ahead on and surrender. Because you have found out that now God is not listening. And he's nowhere to be found. And that's how he did his children. And they was upset, because they started crying out like, God, why you not listening to us? So God said, now you got the choice to make. Bye, y'all.